She must be more tired from her travels than she realized. How did you get here? Zack asked, as Catherine bounced her son in her arms, trying to quiet him as well as shelter him from the harsh wind. Zack gestured to the empty street with his chin, his thumbs tucked in his pockets of his jeans. She could see the worry and concern hit him. She hadn't called, and he likely knew just how pricey the lengthy cab ride from the closest airport would be. But struck by a bout of nerves and doubts, she wanted the last moment to herself to determine whether she was going to truly move to this town, truly choose a stranger. She had the taxi sit at the curb for a good 5 minutes after arrival, while she studied the house and pondered the consequences of what she was about to do. Then she came up the walk, prepared to catch Zack Forrester off guard, hopeful she saw the real man and not a polished, rehearsed version ready to impress. His eyes narrowed. "Where did you take it from?" "The airport," she said, crisply.
Xavier
was still fussing, and through the blanket he was bundled in, she gave his diaper a gentle squeeze, testing for wetness. It was heavy, which meant Zack had been right. Xavier was wet. The man knew his baby cries. She plumped the diaper bag off the sidewalk. "Where can I change him?" As she lifted her head to watch Zack answer, she found herself face to face with him, as he'd been reaching for the bag as well. "Let me," he said gently. Carefully, she didn't release the bag, but instead offered him Xavier. Throughout the travels, her son had always seemed to confirm her gut feelings by crying around people she was unsure about and cooing for those she felt safe with. "Can you carry him?" "My arms are tired." Zack expertly scooped up the infant, supporting Xavier's neck as his entire expression and being softened his focus on the boy in his arms. "I should have picked you up from the airport," he said, turning toward the house. Xavier was drafted by the man's size, but had settled intensely, his round eyes fixed on Zack's face. Despite being wired from the long journey and from several months spent in hiding, Catherine could feel her stress drop a notch, just enough that she no longer felt she was about to crack. Zack talked softly to Xavier as he climbed the several steps up onto the wide wooden porch of the two-story home. The house was a pale blue, with veins of some sort climbing up a trellis on either side of the door. Inside, the place was simply decorated but cheery. It certainly couldn't be considered a drab, with the surprising burgundy Chesterfield with lovely floral throw cushions, plus a bright cut flower banquet on the coffee table. Not what she expected, but she liked it. "And what's your name?" Zack was saying to Xavier, his voice's soft rumble, her son still entranced. It looked as though Zack was passing the baby test as the boy was cooing. "It's Xavier," she said. "I'm Zack," he said to the baby. "Our names are at the end of the alphabet, aren't they?" He was heading upstairs, and Catherine's heart beat faster. "Where are you going?" she asked, fear lacing her words despite her wish to keep it hidden. She'd done fine keeping herself safe after Simon's fatal accident. Fine, that was until her son had been born, making everything feel like a threat to his life. Since then, she felt watched and tracked every moment of the day. That was when she realized that after 7 months of doing fine, she could no longer do it on her own. That's when she started considering Zack's profile on email brides and grooms, his name given to her months before Leo, one of the bachelors at the nightclub where she worked back in London. "I thought you wanted to change him on my bed," Zack said. But he promptly turned to seating again. "Maybe you'd prefer the couch." She nodded, grateful for his quick change of plans, for being aware that he'd pushed things too far and fast with her, a stranger. He didn't apologize, though, simply laid the child out on the couch so she could tend to him. She kept her head down as she changed Xavier, handing the wet diaper to Zack, who appeared at the right moment for the handoff. He disposed of the diaper and returned almost immediately. While Xavier taken care of, she sat with him in her arms, inhaling the scent of his baby shampoo. Now what? She was across the ocean from home, sitting in the living room of a stranger, of her husband. Meeting Zach's steady gaze, she wondered what exactly had made her feel as though this was the safest alternative for herself and her son, but most of all, why she wasn't doubting her choice.